Lisa Callan of Mondo, the red-decked Mondo. We can't miss you anywhere. That was a pretty tough Hobart, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was a really challenging race, not only because the forecast kept changing, the sail plan kept changing, but also conditions were a lot worse than what we expected in some of those parts, and so it was just a really exhausting race.
So take us through the first part, because that was a pretty strange first 24 hours. How did it go for you guys?
Yeah, it was really difficult. I think every plan that we had at one stage got thrown out the window. We had to create a new plan. It's really hard when you sort of, we went out and we were doing really well, and some other people went further out and they didn't do so well, and then they started doing well. And then it's like you've just got to kind of stick to your plan. You can't be half pregnant, as they say. But yeah, so that's really challenging to, because there's certainly times where it's a bit of a coin toss as to, you know, do you stay out or do you stay in? But I was really pleased that we stuck to our overall game plan to find that current just off Eden.
So you stayed enough inshore to get that?
Yeah, we stayed enough inshore to be able to get that, and having that extra knot, 2.5 knots, wow, we just shot ahead compared to the rest of our competitors, and we were well ahead for a while there.
Did you get caught in any of the thunderstorm activity?
Yes, we did, several times. So some of it was good because it was to our advantage. Chasing that cloud, being able to get, generate some wind off that. But yeah, there was some thunderstorms where, unfortunately one of our competitors got hit by, lightning, which is not great. So you never want to have that happen to yourself. But yeah, I think that was really interesting. Some of them were, didn't last very long, and then some of them really stuck in. So yeah.
Bit scary.
Look, when you've got an incredible crew on board and you've done all the planning and training, I was never scared. So even when we were sort of facing, 40 knots earlier this morning, we had a great team on board, and we got through it safely.
It looked pretty brutal. I saw the live feed this morning from the chopper that was out there, and it was sort of like 40 plus knots and pretty big seas and everybody down on storm jibs and trysails, yeah?
Yeah, unfortunately we tore our main, and we were on our number 5 and double reefed, and we tore our main, so that means our main was out for the rest of it. But yeah, certainly the most insane conditions I've sailed in before, but this boat just is built for those conditions, and
they're really bulletproof, aren't they? These 38.
They are, and double reefing and a 5 up, and we just felt like we were cruising along. Like, I was actually surprised that I thought the boat would shake and anything like that. It was just really comfortable. So yeah, I was really pleased.
So tell us a bit about the crew. We see you regularly out on the harbour. The red deck's pretty unmissable.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit.
You love filming some of our stars.
Yes, we did. You did a very good recovery.
Do you really need to post
No,
that?
you recovered very much. That was what it was about. It was the recovery. It was very impressive. But tell us a little bit about the crew, because obviously you're racing pretty regularly now.
Yeah, we are racing pretty regularly out of Manly and also some of the CYC Winter Series races. But offshore is like a whole different kettle of fish, and this is only my second series racing offshore, and I've been doing it as skipper the whole time, so it's only my 9th race. So I've relied a lot on my co-owner, Stephen Toit, who's our navigator, who's been sailing for a long time. We also have our 2IC and tactician and boat captain, Rob Human, who's celebrating his 25th Hobart this year. Absolutely incredible. We have Mitch Gordon, who's the owner of the other Sydney 38, the GOAT. I think he's up to 20 Hobarts. We've got Sammy Price, 16 Hobarts. Helen, who's done 8 Hobarts, and then we've got a couple of other people who are sort of their first or Hobart, or even just their second Hobart. So
that's great stuff, isn't it? Mixing up experience with sort of new stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the people were just saying, everyone's a contributor, everyone's here to learn, everyone worked really well together, and I'm like, one thing I got right was, managed to put together one hell of a crew. Yeah.
We were doing our live update this morning with 2 of my colleagues from the Hobart days we did in the 90s, and 2 women, Rachel Crompton and Simone Hill, and we were just talking about opportunities, and it's great to see people coming through, younger folk skippering and navigating and other things as well. Tell us a little bit about your journey to get to a point where you're a skipper of a Hobart boat.
Well, I only actually actually started sailing about 10 years ago, and we bought Mondo about 4 years ago, and I wanted to get into offshore racing because I didn't grow up in racing and I didn't have that network. I thought the ability for me to be able to probably, as a female in my height, to get into offshore racing would be pretty difficult. So I thought I'd scoot around it by buying a boat and appointing myself skipper.
Well, it's interesting, as you said, because in the end it's about your crew and it's about your boat, and it's a great choice of a boat. They've done so many Hobarts, these boats as well, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely, and you know. A credit to all of these guys, you know, to jump on with a skipper who's sort of, I guess, in their rookie season last year and second rookie season this year, and you know, we all work together as a team. We've got a plan, but yeah, unfortunately, it is getting easier, but it is difficult for females, especially to get into the skipper role. But it's also difficult for men. Like, ultimately, unless you're a professional, being a skipper comes down to if you've got the funds to be able to buy the boat and also, you know, keep it into great nick. You know, we spent a lot of money on the boat this year, getting it up to scratch.
We've got people like Lindsay May, who's having a party this evening for his 50th Hobart, and talking about his days as a 19-year-old and how crude that was. And it is very much about taking an opportunity, or indeed making an opportunity like you've done, and then really working hard.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see the CYC introduce, you know, the Wild Rose. It's great to see the promotion of women and more women in senior positions like navigator. Rather than just sort of pit or shore crew type things. So I think, you know, when people see other people doing it, and that's what a lot of females have said to me, oh Lisa, we've seen you do it, and that inspires us and makes us believe that we can do it as well.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to leave you to celebrations.
Thank
well
you
done.
so
That's
much.
mighty efforts. Lovely. Don't take the red deck off, because we'll never know the boat. We see it anyway. We don't even need binoculars to see you.
Same time as it is celebrated. But thank you for all your coverage and support of the race, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks very much. Thanks. Bye now. Nixon would say, it's always about Shane.
Yeah, that's right.
Nixon would say, it's always about Shane.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the last year, he said, you can come and talk to us now. We're the people who sail the boat.
That's right.
Stephen, as navigator and part owner, tell us a bit about that race.
It was really interesting, navigationally challenging. One of the issues that we had was that our primary nav computer failed.
Oh my goodness me.
And then an hour later, the backup nav computer failed. And then about 4 hours later, the backup tablet, which had the nav programs on, that also failed. It was just like, I don't believe this.
So you had to go back to some basics? What did you do?
Well, one of the crew called it archaeology, because I mounted the nav computer over the top of the old C80 which came with the boat. Hasn't been turned on for years. So we used that to finish the race.
Sorry, what was that? What did you do?
It's a Ray Marine C80. We never took it off the boat. We just bolted the new nav computer over the top of it. So we unscrewed the nav computer, the broken one, and there's this ancient C80. Right, we're back in business.
And it was still working.
It was still working.
Yeah, that's good. It's a hell of a race. I just keep looking at the red deck. We just see this red deck everywhere from our place. But it was a hell of a race, and for a navigator, a pretty bloody tricky one to pick. How did you fare?
Pretty good. The crew seemed to be happy with my predictions. At one point I said, look guys, I've been analysing the models. We're coming down the east coast of Tassie. At this point, it's going to go soft at this location, and it's going to go north. They all looked at me and said, nah, it's not going to happen. You know, well, guys, just get the spinnaker ready. No way.
Well, that's faith in a navigator, isn't it?
Well, they ate their words, didn't they? Flew the kite for another several hours. I said, here's when it's going to stop working. Sure enough, that's when it stopped working. So I think from an analysis point of view of being a navigator, I did all right.
Well, you must have built up some trust credits there, surely, after all that.
Well, Lisa and I have sailed together for many, many years, and we bought the boat together.
Yeah.
And she's a really good organiser, crew manager,
Yeah.
excellent leader. but I'm a better navigator, which is why we have these roles.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. Well done for getting here. It was a bit of a punishing finish, wasn't it?
Oh yes, all the way from Storm Bay to the finish line with no main.
No mainsail.
No mainsail. With a number 5 up, and in hindsight, it probably did us a favour.
Right.
All right, the boat wasn't too overloaded.
Yeah.
We managed to keep the pace up.
Yeah.
Boats which were ahead of us, we clawed back about, half a dozen boats and passed them, the ones which were ahead of us. We're really pleased. We beat all the other Sydney 38s. That was our primary.
Most important thing.
Yes, indeed.
Well done. Very nice to see you here. Great to see the boat here, and with that, to see you around in Sydney.
Thank you very much. See ya. Bye.